If you've been diving into Tomb Busters lately, you already know this game is all about quick decisions, risky treasure runs, and somehow making it out alive with your loot. Some characters are incredible at scouting ahead, others help the team avoid danger, and a few can completely change the outcome of a match with their unique abilities. Picking the right character can be the difference between escaping with a legendary coffin or becoming another victim of the tomb's traps and ghosts. In today's video, we're ranking every character in Tomb Busters and breaking down who truly deserves a spot on your team. Whether you prefer playing a solo, leading the charge in squad matches, or supporting your teammates from the shadows, this tier list will help you figure out which characters are worth investing in. So grab your gear, watch your stamina, and let's jump straight into the Tomb Busters character tier list. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking characters in Tomb Busters. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Neon. And then we arrive at a character who feels a bit like handing a smoke machine to someone who just learned how to press buttons. Neon definitely has her moments, especially for newer players who are still getting comfortable with Tomb Busters. Her entire playstyle revolves around placing flame sigils that generate explosive smoke screens, turning parts of the map into a confusing mess. Sounds useful on paper, right? Well, sometimes that smoke helps your team escape danger, and other times it makes everyone wonder where they are, where the monster is, and whether they're accidentally running into a wall. That unpredictability is exactly why Neon lands in C tier. The smoke can block a monster's vision, which is great, but in narrow hallways and cramped areas, it can be just as disruptive for your own squad. Instead of creating a clever escape route, you occasionally create a team-wide guessing game. For beginners, she's still a decent pick because her abilities are easy to understand and can occasionally save the day. But once players start coordinating better and looking for reliable utility, Neon's chaotic nature becomes harder to justify. She's not terrible, she's just the kind of teammate who accidentally turns every mission into an unexpected adventure. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Edward, Alice, and Alan. Edward feels like the one teammate who shows up to a treasure hunt carrying a toolbox instead of a weapon. While everyone else is sprinting toward to the extraction point, Edward is busy turning piles of broken junk into something actually useful. His transmutation ability allows him to recycle low-quality loot into structural equipment and utility items, giving his squad extra resources when things start going wrong. The problem is that Tomb Busters is not always patient enough for Edward's crafting routine. His entire game plan depends on gathering unwanted items and spending time converting them into better gear. In slower matches, that value can really add up. In high-level lobbies, however, teams often want to grab the loot and leave within minutes, making Edward's methodical approach feel a step behind the pace of the game. Alice is the kind of character you do not fully appreciate until your entire run is about to collapse. Everything can be going smoothly, and then suddenly half the team is fighting for their lives. That is where she shines. Her ability to revive a fallen teammate can completely change the outcome of a match, turning what looked like a failed expedition into a successful extraction. On top of that, Alice gets even more value from healing supplies than most characters. Her medical efficiency skill extends the duration and effectiveness of healing items, allowing the team to stretch limited resources much further. If that was not enough, she can also enhance her own healing output, making every medical item feel twice as valuable when the pressure starts building. Alan, meanwhile, treats dangerous maps like they are sightseeing tours. Dense fog, hidden traps, and hazardous pathways that make other players nervous are far less threatening when he is around. His Insight protocol helps him navigate difficult environments, while Lightborn gives him a 50% chance to completely ignore trap damage. Watching Alan casually walk through hazards that would cripple everyone else is almost unfair. His utility does not stop there. Alan can access the in-match shop from anywhere on the map, allowing him to purchase basic survival equipment without making the long trip back to a vendor. The catch is that everything costs more, so careless spending can drain your gold reserves quickly. Still, when a run is hanging by a thread and the team desperately needs supplies, being able to shop from anywhere can feel like having a secret emergency button hidden in your pocket. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, MS.7, Lily Kane, and Linian. Ever had one of those runs where the map feels less like a dungeon and more like a prank designed specifically to make you lost? That is exactly where MS.7 takes over. Instead of wandering around in circles, wondering if you have already checked the same hallway 3 times, she turns exploration into a science. Her advanced scanner creates a color-coded tracking network that reveals valuable loot routes, monster patrol patterns, and even hidden extraction opportunities that other players might completely miss. And if all that information somehow is not enough, MS7 is also surprisingly difficult to catch. Whenever a monster decides she looks like an easy target, her quick escape passive dramatically reduces stamina consumption while running. In practice, this means she can keep moving long after most characters would be completely exhausted. She is the perfect choice for players who prefer smart navigation over brute force. Lily, on the other hand, brings one of the strangest and most entertaining support kits in Tomb Busters. Rather than standing behind her teammates and throwing out buffs from a safe distance, she literally joins the action by attaching herself to an ally through Haunting Companion. Once attached, she rides on their back as her companion form known as Boo Boo, creating one of the most unique support mechanics in the game. While connected to a teammate, Lily absorbs a portion of the damage they would normally take and even helps reduce their ability cooldowns. Her support value gets even better thanks to Together in Suffering, which lowers the team's overall stamina usage. She can also send out a remote projection to scout dangerous areas ahead, allowing the team to gather information without risking their main group. If Teamwork had a mascot, it would probably be Lily. Sometimes, however, information and support are not enough. Sometimes a giant angry monster decides the extraction route belongs to it now. That is where Kain steps into the spotlight. When the situation turns into a full-blown fight, few characters can match his ability to control the battlefield and create breathing room for his squad. Kain's Tiangang Surge and supporting passives are built around dealing with large groups of enemies while keeping pressure away from more vulnerable teammates. He excels at drawing attention, disrupting monsters, and creating safe paths for loot carriers. Add in the highest physical health pool and some of the strongest stagger resistance in the game, and you get a character who feels more like a moving fortress than a treasure hunter. Then there is Lin Yun, the player everyone suddenly appreciates when things start going horribly wrong. While other supports focus on healing or utility, she specializes in keeping the entire squad alive through powerful defensive tools. Her Dragon Rise Cloud Stride ability summons a spectral dragon that shields nearby teammates, instantly making dangerous situations far more manageable. What truly pushes Lin Yun into A tier is how well her defensive abilities work together. Her United in Battle passive can hard stun pursuing monsters, creating precious seconds for the team to regroup, escape, or finish an extraction. Between her team-wide protection and reliable crowd control, Lin Yun has an incredible talent for turning panic-filled moments into successful escapes. When the ghosts are closing in and everyone is sprinting toward the elevator, few teammates are more reassuring to have by your side. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Vivian and Brimlight. Now, we finally reach the characters that make players say, yeah, I am definitely bringing this one every match. The S tier is reserved for game-changing picks, and sitting comfortably at the very top is Vivian. No matter whether you prefer solo runs or coordinated squad play, she delivers ridiculous value. Her Forge's Blessing ability allows her to reroll opened coffins and chests, effectively giving players a second chance at better loot whenever luck decides to be uncooperative. That alone would make her incredibly strong, but Vivian somehow keeps going. Wanderer's Song creates a subtle purple mist that warns nearby teammates whenever a monster is lurking in an adjacent room. Pair that with Eye of Hocus, and suddenly every run becomes much safer. While other teams are nervously opening doors and hoping for the best, Vivian's squad is already 3 steps ahead. She turns risky exploration into calculated decision-making, which is exactly why so many players consider her the most valuable character in the entire game. Right behind her is Brimlight, a character who seems to have looked at the rules of Tomb Busters and decided they were optional. Most players have to carefully navigate traps, monsters, and dangerous routes. Brimlight simply rewinds time and pretends none of it happened. Her signature ability, Notch in Time, lets her retrace her movement path and instantly return to a previously safe location. This ability creates some of the fastest and safest loot runs imaginable. Instead of slowly working through every hazard, Brimlight can dive directly into dangerous areas, grab what the team needs, and instantly retreat before things spiral out of control. Few characters can match the speed and efficiency she brings to a squad, making her one of the strongest picks for experienced players. And then there is the combination that probably keeps monsters awake at night, Vivian and Brimlight together. While Brimlight rushes headfirst into dangerous vaults filled with traps and ghosts, Vivian can immediately re-roll valuable coffins to maximize the rewards. Once the loot is secured, Brimlight simply rewinds back to safety as if the entire risk never existed. The result is a duo that can bypass many of the challenges Tombusters tries to throw at players. Difficult puzzles become less threatening, dangerous vaults become more accessible, and high-value loot becomes significantly easier to secure. If you are looking for the strongest characters in the current meta, these two sit at the top for a reason. They do not just make runs easier, they completely change how the game can be played. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.